Joining us now from the Hudson Institute, environmental economist Dennis Avery, and physicist and professor from the University of Virginia, Fred Singer, is with us. Guys, thank you both for being with us. Are we being told the truth about global warming, Dr. Singer?
Well, the climate is warming. That's what the temperature indicators show, or the thermometers show this. But the cause of warming, that's another story. It could either be natural, as we think it is, or it could be man-made. And we find that there's really no evidence to support the man-made hypothesis.
Dennis Avery, is that your conclusion?
We've got an interesting historic perspective. The Romans wrote in the 1st century about growing wine grapes in Britain. Then during the Dark Ages it was too cold. During the medieval period, the Britons themselves wrote about growing wine grapes in Britain. And then for 650 years, during the Little Ice Age, it was too cold. After 1950, they started trying to grow wine grapes again in Britain. They're now up to 2 years out of 10 with a little help from some tricky hybrids. So this tells us, A, there's a cycle, and B, the temperatures today aren't yet as warm as they were 650 years ago or 2,000 years ago.
In the Texas Hill Country, thousands went without power last night, and crews worked all night to restore some power and clean the roads. Meantime, neighbors are just trying to help out each other.
My neighbor said I could have some of her firewood if they got down to the nitty-gritty. My husband gathered up a little bit, but it's all wet.
You've heard Vice President Al Gore. I don't know if you've taken the time to go see his movie. Is he?
No, of course.
Is he lying to the American people? Is he politicizing this topic for some type of political agenda?
I don't think he thinks he's lying, but I don't think he understands the problem really well. For example, when he talks about glaciers melting, of course they're melting. You'd expect them to melt when the climate is warming, but that doesn't tell you why the climate is warming.
Levels, though, rise in conjunction with the Industrial Revolution. How can you discount the amount of pollution that's gone into the atmosphere since around 1900 in conjunction with manufacturing and what we have done to the environment? How can you discount that?
Well, CO2, of course, is not a pollutant. It is a naturally occurring gas in the atmosphere. In fact, it's essential to life. It's what all plants use in order to grow. Without CO2, there would be no life on Earth. So let's get that very clear. It is not a pollutant. It has increased, and it is undoubtedly the case that the human activities have led to the increase. But that doesn't prove it's the cause of warming. You see, it's just a correlation. And for example, during much of the last century, the climate was cooling while CO2 was rising. So how do you explain that?